Good evening, Facebook world. Welcome to this broadcast. I'll wait a minute to give you guys time to get your notification and jump on the line. As you do jump on the line, please, you know the deal. For those of you who might be new to these lives, please tell me who you are and where you're from. Tracy Piscopo, check you out. You're on in like seconds. Hello, darling. Good to see you there. We're talking tonight about how you can change your past. You can change your past, the whole of it. I can't wait to share just a few little keys with you. Hello, everyone. Hello. All right, there's a whole bunch of you. Hello there, Miss Sue. Hello there, Millsy. All right. Hey. Okay, let's get started. So, when you see this topic, it can be kind of confronting. You know, depending on your level of awakening, people go, how do you change your past? You can never change your past. Here's the thing. You cannot change the circumstances of the past. The circumstances are what they were, but you can change the entire experience of your past, because you see your past it's not made up of mere experiences. Okay, that's not what the past is made up of. It's made up of the story that you have attached to them. Okay, it's not, your past does not consist of a series of events. Okay, it's a story that's been meshed together with emotions that you now own. And you know, you might have heard the quote that there's what happens and then there's the meaning you give it. Nothing has meaning except for the meaning you give it. And the meaning that we give it really just comes from the filter that we see it through. So your past is literally nothing other than a canvas of all your perceptions. Okay? You are consciousness that is perceiving. And as you are perceiving, you are vibrating. And as you are vibrating, you are attracting. Okay, so this is what makes the story real. This is what makes it as though it actually happened. It's not the circumstances, it's the perception of the circumstances. And then what happens is you even then have evidence to prove that your story is real, because the subconscious mind gives the conscious mind instruction to go about collecting evidence to support the subconscious thought. And so therefore, see, the universe will support you in whatever you choose to believe, in however it is that you choose to perceive. It will support you in that, and it will bring you more and more experiences to prove that truth to you. But there is a difference between what is the truth and what is your truth. And that's what makes consciousness so hard. That's what makes the awakening journey so challenging, is that in order to rise to new levels of consciousness, we also rise to new levels of perception. And at a new level of perception, we can no longer own the old story. The old story doesn't make sense at the new level of consciousness. And so we have to let go of that story, or we can't rise. But in order to let go of that story, we also let go of the payoffs that go with it. And those payoffs have become our identities. And what we do at a subconscious level is, in order to distract ourselves from one pain, we create another pain. Because if we've got another pain that needs our attention, now we've got a perfect excuse to give ourselves permission to not address or give our attention to and resolve the other pain. So we always create new pains that are nothing other than distractions from the real pain. And peeling back those layers is where you hold all of the power, to completely change your past. Because once the story is real, once you attach a story to the circumstances or the events that have occurred, once you attach a story to it, it becomes real. And once it's real, you live it. Okay, you give your attention and your energy to it, and so it remains to be. You see, there's no such thing as the law of deflection. There is only the law of attraction. Everything is only ever coming to us. We can never ever make something go away from us. We can never not want something, because not by your words, but by your attention to it, you include it in your vibration. And so this is what makes it really difficult to be able to let go, okay? And for those of you who live anywhere near Adelaide, or can fly in, or can get in a car and drive here, if this is something you know is stopping you from moving forward, it's anchoring to the pain from your past, and you want to be able to let go, and you know you need to be able to let go, but you just don't know how, This Sunday night, I'm running a workshop and exactly how to do that. We're going to unpack this topic for 2.5 hours. And it's not just going to be a me talk and you listen. We're literally going to workshop some things. There's going to be some tasks that I give to you. Very private things that you definitely don't have to expose yourself in any way, but that will help you start to unravel those layers, because your ability to heal and your ability to completely change your past cannot occur. It cannot occur until you have the courage to see every event, every circumstance in your past as something that happened for you, not to you. But that takes a hell of a lot of courage, and in order to see it from that perception, we must be able to let go of the current perception and the payoffs that go with it and the victim story. And sometimes we use the pain of the events or circumstances of the past to access love. That's always been our story. There's going to be people share their story this coming Sunday night, people that have had cancer, people that have had, been sexually abused even by their own parents, some real crazy stuff. And they'll tell you that they had to get to a point where they believed it happened for them, not to them. And, we sometimes those stories become our identity, and then we use them to access love without even realizing. When you tell someone about your cancer story, or you tell someone about your abuse story, or you tell someone about your abandonment or your rejection or whatever it might be, they offer you love, they care about you, they comfort you. And so there's this part of us that makes it so hard, because it's like, but if I no longer have that story, if that is no longer the way that I view those events, I cannot live that anymore, because it is no longer my truth. And if that is no longer my truth, what reason will people have to love me then? Because at the moment, that's how they love me. They love me because I've been through that. They give me attention. They care. They call me. They check on me. They're concerned for me based on those circumstances from my past. And if I don't have that story, what reason will people have to love me then? Why else would they bother to care about me? And so you start digging through some other layers. So, just remember, there is only inclusion in this universe. There is no exclusion in this universe. Everything is only included. Nothing can ever be excluded. And not by your words, not by saying, I want this and I don't want that. Not by your words, but by your attention to it. You include it in your vibration and you ask for more of its existence. So your past is not a series of circumstances. Your past, what creates your past, is the story that you've attached to those circumstances based on the filter that you have seen them through, the perception that you have lived that story through. So by changing your level of consciousness, by changing your perception, by being in an environment that makes it safe for you to be able to see a higher truth, you are literally able to change your past. Not the circumstances, but you do change the entire experience of your past. And I kid you not, and I can't say this any more strongly, you physically change it. It doesn't even exist to you like it always has anymore. And when you're able to let go of something when you're able to resolve and to heal from something that has burned you for so long, that destroyed a part of your spirit, that became part of your identity, that was only ever a story, it was only ever a perception, when you are able to let go, you create so much space in your spirit. And when you create that space, the universe can send you your abundance. Okay, that's what blocks you from your future. No matter how well you train your mind, no matter how many personal development seminars you go to, how well you learn to control your thoughts. Deeper than your thoughts is your spirit. And sometimes your spirit needs to clear things, and that can be a downside of personal development. We get so good at controlling our brain. We get so good at understanding our thoughts and being aware of our thinking that as soon as our spirit is calling us to give our attention to something that hurts or that's painful, we can perceive that as negative. And so we don't give it the attention that we're being called to in order to resolve it, because we just see those emotions as negative and I won't let my mind go there because it doesn't serve me. But sometimes it's happening for you to heal at the level of the spirit, which is so much deeper than your mind. So just remember, you get exactly what you ask for. And you cannot believe in these principles when they're convenient to you. You can't be someone who chooses to believe that everything happens for a reason and that that everything's based on the law of attraction when it's convenient, when good things are happening. You either believe in that or you don't. You can't pick and choose when those principles apply. You see, this is not your universe. When you get your own universe, you can make up your own rules on that one. But while you're a guest here on this one, that's how it works. There is no law of deflection. There is only the law of attraction. Everything is only ever coming to you. Nothing is ever pushed away from you. No emotion, no experience, nothing. It is a vibrational universe, and there is no such thing as no. There is only yes. We only ask. There is only yes in this universe. So, for those of you who really want to unpack those bags, who want to clear those blocks that interfere with every relationship in your life, they interfere with every opportunity in your life, they become the filters that you perceive new experiences through, and you get distorted views, and that's why you're anchored to where you are. You cannot move even step towards your destiny while you are still holding on to your history. You are anchored to your history for as long as you choose, until you decide that you are ready and you are willing to let that go. But in letting that go, in letting go of that pain, you also let go of the payoffs that go with it and the identity that you have attached yourself to in that story. And that's why it makes it so hard to let go of, because we don't just lose the experience or the story, we lose the identity. Okay, so I'm going to cover a whole lot of this. Make sure you run this workshop when you come to Melbourne. I definitely will. I'm looking at setting up a tour right around the country very soon. There will be if you haven't already joined my Facebook group, Unbecome-Spiritual Expansion, make sure you do, because this coming Sunday night, I'm hoping, look, I can't promise, okay? It just depends on the vibration of the room. I make my decisions very intuitively, but I will be setting up the camera, and my intentions are to live stream some parts, not all parts. I am there first and foremost to serve those who make it in person, okay? And I understand that some of you aren't able to make it, and that's just the way the universe plans it for now. I will get around to all the cities eventually, but it is most important to me to make that a safe environment. So I'm not there to to just teach something and do a speech from the front. I truly like to help people achieve breakthroughs and create transformations. I don't speak for applause. I teach for a cause. And so if the room doesn't feel safe with knowing it's on camera, even though they aren't individually on camera, then I'll turn the camera off. However, keep an eye on the Facebook page, because I will live stream it. But I'm not willing to just make it easily accessible for everyone, because I think that you need to pay a price to get access to things, because that's how the universe knows that you're ready for the information. You make it a priority to get access to it. Success will never be convenient in any area of our life, including our own spiritual growth and expansion. So even if I do it live, I do want to make it very clear that I will delete that video inside 12 to 24 hours. So, it's not just about, making it available to spoon feed you and give you all this information on a silver platter and you get to it whenever it suits you. Sometimes you've got to priority. Nobody has a time problem. The only problem we have is a priority problem. So if it's a priority to you, you'll be ready to tune in live. And if it's not, that's okay. There's nothing's ever wrong. But that's my principles, that's my beliefs, and that's the philosophies I stand by. So stay tuned in the group, okay? So just remember, in order to avoid the pain of one problem, we create another problem. And then we think that pain is what the problem is, but it's not. It's only the protector. It's the guard of the real problem. And until you're ready to be able to even be open to and willing to let go and make space by releasing and resolving what's happened in your past, and to be able to see that as something, no matter how bad and how traumatic, when you've got the courage to be able to see it as something that happened for you, not something that happened to you, that's when your letting go process will begin. So if you feel like you're ready for that, even though it might be painful, even though it might be confronting, even though it might be challenging, then, I highly suggest that you cancel whatever plans you've got and make it a priority to get to the workshop on Sunday night. I will post the details of that in these comments here. Otherwise, you can go to my website, thehollyeffect.com/events, okay? Because the thing is, everyone wants the muscle, but nobody wants to work out. Isn't that the truth? Everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. So, if you want the muscle, if you want the expansion, if you want the growth, you've got to be willing to do the workout. You've got to be willing to go through the pain and to go through the journey. So this is where you have to participate in your own rescue. So I really cannot wait, because learning how to release the past, learning how to let go, learning how to change your past is the most freeing thing, and it sets up the whole of your life purpose, because the universe can't send you what you want. It can only send you what you've got space for. And even though you think you want it, sometimes the reason it cannot come to you is there's just no space in you. You are too full. You are full to the brim, not of events and circumstances going on in your life right now, but of stuff and of rubbish and of junk and of toxic emotional energy from your past. And all it takes, you don't even have to learn how to think differently, how to do anything differently, just by releasing your past and learning how to let go. By learning that, the whole of your life path opens up to you, because it creates space in you. So as I say, guys, refreshing is a really good word, Tracy. It's so refreshing. Absolutely. There's just a weight off you literally feel a weight lift off your spirit. You go from feeling heavy to feeling light, and there's no way to explain it. You can only experience it. As I say, guys, don't ever leave here the same person you were when you got here. Make sure that every time you get access to anything that grows you or stretches you or pushes you, make sure that you allow it to touch you, allow it to challenge you, allow it to change you. But that takes courage. It takes a whole lot of courage, particularly probably the hardest part of the awakening process is letting go. It really is, because of the fact we have to give up our identities. And it's like, who am I if I'm not that person anymore? For me, it was, I've always been the battler. I've always been the one that did it, but I achieved against all odds, and I would struggle, but I would do it. And I would be the battler. I would tough it out, but I'd get there in the end. And I had to learn how to allow things to happen with grace and with ease. I had to delete that belief system I had in my head around, you should have to work hard for everything and everything should feel like it was hard to get. But there was this part of me that was like, but if things just happen for me, if they just start to happen and the flow happens and I don't even know how it's happening, but it all just happens and it just is created on my behalf, who would I be then? Who would I be if I'm not Holly the battler, Holly the struggler, Holly the one that has to do it against all odds? Who would I be if I'm not her? It almost feels wrong to receive something if it's not hard. It almost feels wrong if I didn't have to tough it out and stick to my guns and all this. It almost felt like I would be doing something wrong. So for me, I had to learn to let go of that belief system, which meant let go of an identity. Who would I be if I'm not the one that has to tough it out? Who would I be if it just all happened? And that was part of my journey, and I'll be sharing a whole lot more about that, as well as you'll hear from some other people that are having the most ridiculously gigantic leaps in transformation in their lives currently as we speak. You're going to hear from people that aren't on the other side of it. They're in the midst of it. They're in the middle of going through it. So often we hear people's stories when they get to the other side. This is what it was like for me. But you're going to hear some stories of this is what it is like for me right now, this moment, this week, last week. And you're going to see yourself. You're going to see your life in those people's stories. So make sure you get ready to tune in case we can, tune in live, even if it's just bits and pieces of the event. It'll be worth catching whatever you can. If you live anywhere, if there's any possibility to drive, fly, swim or walk to Adelaide, get there this weekend, because it really can be the moment that changes your life. And it's $20. Seriously, it's almost a joke in terms of price. But guys, as I say, don't leave here the same person you were when you got here. It takes courage to live like this, particularly to let go. So as you depart from here tonight, depart from here with courage. The courage to believe in a better way. The courage to voice what you've got to say. The courage to thrive when times are tough. And above all else, the courage to know you are good enough. Good night, everyone. Thank you.